Hello, welcome back to Ryan Speaks Geek. That is me, and I hope you know that because that is literally the name of the channel. So if you didn't know that, this is probably not much of a reveal. But I'll tell you what is a good reveal is I do have my very good friend, Mr. Stevie, on here as well. And let's see if he can work out how to do things properly with a button. I did, I think.
Hello, Ryan. Ladies and gentlemen,
Hi,
I'm
Steve.
Steve. This is Ryan, and together with Steve and Ryan. I
The
love.
album comes out in 3 weeks. We're really excited about it.
Can you sing? No. Are you going to make it? Yes. Yes. Hello, Ryan. How are you, my friend? It's lovely to see a sarcastic opening. I miss
I
chatting to
know.
the Brits.
Yes, well, the problem is it was either that or moaning about the weather, and I couldn't make up my mind. And
Well,
then
that's the only two options we've got as Englishmen. It's
I
like,
know.
do we open a conversation with sarcasm or complaining about the weather?
Or in my
Which is
experience, you go, "Wow, the sun was really hot today."
yeah, me too.
Combine the best of both
I
worlds. But
suffer
how
that
are
a bit
you?
lower than you do. You suffer that a bit higher
Yeah,
than I do.
I sense the weather way before you, anyway. So,
True.
how are you, my friend? You good?
I'm all right. I'm sitting here, clearly. I'm about to wait for a big storm. We've got a big rain, lightning, wind storm coming up the up the back passage in northeast. So I'm just preparing and hoping my Wi-Fi hangs on. But I will talk until I can't. Well, actually, that's a lie. I got to go off at about 10 to 4, about 4
I'm saying,
o'clock.
I think that if someone's got a particular toy. The well,
See,
neither of
it's
us can say it.
impossible.
This
It's impossible, isn't it?
Well, I was doing a live the other week, and I was saying about the fact that I was talking about like the Geek Week and other shows people should watch and everything. And I tried to say it, and I couldn't. I thought, oh, he's going to be annoyed. I thought, actually, no, what? He can't say it, so no, I'm safe.
There you go. People think it's a shtick, and it was, but I generally can't say. I can probably do it now. Mr. Stevie's tool. See, I get it right, and then my brain goes, "Oh, you effed that up." Tall toy tales. Yes, so I'm
I'm
doing that
saying
at
all the
4,
right
4 o'clock.
words, but not necessarily in the right order. I'll give you that sunshine.
Arsenal.
Yeah. So I mean that's a good point to start with, really, because obviously you've been on Instagram for like ages, and you've got a really good following, and you do share like a lot of things of different people's creations and arts and stuff. And now you're dabbling into the world of YouTube.
I am. I am. People are saying, "Wait, why are you going to YouTube? Just stick it on Instagram. You can do 10 minutes." And I was just like, "Yes, I can," but I wanted to experiment with widescreen and with proper microphones. I saw all the big boys playing with their big boy toys, and I wanted to go. So I thought I'll give it a go, but I'm going to keep it to 10 minutes, which I think was a really wise decision because you know me, I can just gabble, 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 and I talk fast. So having my lights go red when it's 10-minute time, when 10 minutes time up. So tall tales, that's pretty good. It's 10 minutes or just over. And I stick to it pretty much. So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
pretty much.
it's fun. And my kids will actually look at it on the television upstairs and they can critique me. And so, yeah, I thought I'd give it a go.
Which is what you need, really, is your children's critique, because they're always so fair and reasonable with what they say.
Absolutely. They're always very, very encouraging, very, very interested, and they spread the word amongst the Gen A's to Gen A's. Yes, are they Gen A's yet? No, they're older than that. They're Gen Z's. For everyone to watch, and they don't. No one watches. I got like 200 subscribers, but that's okay. I do it for me. And also, my daughter Sophia made a very good point. She said, "Dad, when you're dead, at least we'll have something to watch of you, because theoretically, hopefully, that YouTube will keep its stuff, and we can go back and look at you." So I was like,
Mate, 200 subscribers is pretty impressive considering you've been doing it for not very long. And the other thing is, I have got about the same myself, and I am infinitely less entertaining. So you've already, I think,
"That's
you're
not
close to
true.
surpassing. So
That's not true at all."
you should be fine. Should be fine. No, to be fair, and you've done the right thing, I think, starting with the doing the 10-minute videos. I think that's a block that people can actually sort of get involved in, and also you can stick to a schedule better.
Yes.
Whereas I keep doing these things where I keep saying I'm going to do all this, I'm going to do that, and then I am terrible at not actually sticking to the schedule, and then it goes chaos. And then I just WhatsApp my friends out of the blue and be like, Hey, still want to do that live stream I talked to you about in August?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's weird because I'm the same with Instagram. Like I'm constantly finding content, whether it's stuff that I've bought or stuff that I'm making or other people that are making stuff or we've got new reveals and things. And it's really hard not to jam it all at once and stick it all on. Because what I found is when you do that, people get bored, they get fed up with you and they drop away. Same with the YouTube if it goes on too much. So I've really tried to discipline myself to 3 posts max a day on Instagram, 10 minutes every week on YouTube, and that's kind of my discipline, and I try and live that through more avenues in my life than I care to admit. But it's less is more sometimes. So, but it is difficult because I just enjoy it so
I
much.
may have
It's
to
good laugh.
try
It's great.
this.
It's great crack.
Yes, I do this purely because I enjoy it. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I don't get free stuff, and I don't, be like blah 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 blah.
No one gives you a free barge, do they, Ryan?
No one gives you a free barge. Literally, the only reason he's on this show is that I'm just buttering him up for a barge. Mate, I've already worked out. I'm going to proper like Home Alone it, and I'm going to try and get your barge. I think that's the only sensible way to do it.
My barge is priceless. I don't know how much that's worth. I'll never sell it anyway.
And
None
that's
of
why
this
it will
really
hurt
gets sold.
more,
Like,
Mr. Stevie. That's
well,
why it will hurt more.
cut his heart out with a spoon.
Yeah, you'll feel that UK wrath and our lack of shipping options. I've totally got over it though. That's the important thing, is I've really moved on.
Yeah, looks like it.
Do you
Who
know
knows?
what?
Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Well, one day you will
One
get
day,
your
I'm hoping.
barge. Your barge will come into port, but it'll be sweeter for it. It's about the story. It's about the hunt. Like if you just got it,
Be
and
on my
you would just
t-shirt.
have it. Whereas if you didn't get it and you couldn't get it, and you had, when we were chatting in the pub, and you were like, "Oh, could we get some?" I was like, "No, we couldn't." He's like, but you'll eventually get it, and then you'll have a whole story to tell behind it, which will be far more interesting than just, "Well, yeah, I backed it."
I'll
That's
have a
right.
tall
You got to tell
tall
yourself
toy
that.
shirt. Oh, that was my option to say it correctly, and I blew it. Damn it!
You'll have your own tall toy tales. Yeah.
You almost seemed convinced by your own sentence. No, I'm glad, but that is on. So that's on every Sunday at 9 p.m., isn't it, in UK times?
9 p.m. UK times. Yeah, I do it live, but then I get like 4 viewers sometimes. And I'm still trying to work out looking at the camera and looking down and seeing what I'm doing and looking at the comments. So I've got to get this StreamYard thing that you've got. I go live and I just flip the cameras and I just kind of work off it. So I like the idea of what you're doing. Yeah. So
you get a
I'll
little
work it
comment
out.
thing on the thing, and I can put them up on the screen if I want. But normally they just like get off the TV, baldy. So I just like, oh, I won't put that one on the screen. I'll just leave that one there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can bring in pictures and things as well, can't you? You can just like
Yeah.
can you kind of cue them up and just kind of hit an arrow to kind of bring them up in like order? Or
I had great fun with it. I've only just experimented with it. So I did a live review of a really cool set that I think you'd appreciate. So a guy in the UK is making like Palitoy style play sets.
Oh, great. Let's sue him. No.
No. I've already told him that you should be fine.
No,
He does it for.
I personally don't mind things
cost
like that. I
thing.
think it encourages community, etc.
Yeah.
You should know that. Is it plastic and then with cardboard inserts, or is it all cardboard?
It's vacuum formed. Like he does it. It's all just it's a one guy operation. He got himself a vacuum former. I think he had one maybe somewhere, and he just makes like the bases and then prints the things. But they're all like individually designed and stuff like that. But they're just great fun. And the thing is, like you said, it's such a niche market as well. I mean, it's something that I don't think would ever, you could realistically, couldn't see something like Hasbro going, we're going to do a line of Palitoy inspired vintage Star Wars, but it would be such a niche.
I know, and I do like those
Kenner
things.
Star Wars.
Yeah,
definitely.
Maybe I'll try. I am trying to work out how to do more unusual things for the fan community through Hasbro, and I know they are as well. It's just, it's a big business. You've just got to work it out. But it is intriguing. I'll say that much. That sort of bespoke targeting of niche fans for niche brands or aspects of brands. But that's all I can say on that.
That's all I gotta say about that. I mean, you want to talk about niche? Here's a niche one for you, because I know one of the niche things in your collection that I really love is the porcelain layer that you have. You've got
Yes.
like a porcelain layer. Yeah, go on, because I will see your porcelain. I'm going to raise you something as well.
Oh, are you?
I am.
God help me, I don't drop it.
Yeah, see, I could drop mine as much as I want when I tell you what it is.
Now the problem, we got an inflatable layer. That's amazing. So that's my, that's my, I needed Ash here to go, whoo. That's my porcelain layer. Hope you can see that. So it's basically cast from the Kenner layer and then molded the original layer and then cast in porcelain with a little dome and things. It's wonderful. Even got the little pistol down there. But I can't remember the guy's name that does it. Damn it.
I'm terrible at remembering the names of
sorry.
people, and I'm going to feel really bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. I've got to say it. I've got a little name tag.
Ba ba da 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 da.
Keep talking. I'm going to find it. Show me yours. Show me yours.
Well, didn't realize I was that kind of show. So the reason I can drop mine as much as you want, because I will trade your porcelain layer and I will raise you one solid metal yak face.
Ooh. What metal is that?
I don't even know.
I just,
you know, when you just see something on eBay one day and you're like, this is insane. I need it. And I didn't even win it for that much, because I think it might even been misspelled something, but it is one solid piece. But it is literally that someone has just put that into a mold and just gone like, yeah. I mean, it is so weighty. It weighs so much.
You know what I think? I reckon someone's melted down their Citadel miniatures from 1987, like lead, and remolded it. So be careful with that. Don't lick it. That's what I used to do. I used to get all my miniature lead figures and melt. Actually, I used to put them in a ladle, hold them over the gas stove, let them melt, and then pour it into a bowl of water and make like coral. It used to and like freeze. It was awesome.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean. That's a really cool effect, which would be good for your playsets. But yeah, that is a solid metal yak face, which is not something that people can say they have many in their collections. Because I was thinking about the unusual things you have in your cabinet of mysteries. And I was like, I bet he doesn't have one of those.
I don't have one of those. I'd like one of those. Like a full metal.
Well, this is mine.
All
Do you know what? I could part with it, but it would require something very special in return.
In my bar, bugger off.
Yeah, it's worth a try.
I'm gonna see if I can find this guy. Hang on. Is it? Keep talking. I'm determined to remember this guy's name. I think I
got to talk about retro collection a little bit, because you've recently discovered some of the you got the name?
No, I'm just. I want people to know that I'm not just like looking down and ignoring you. I'm just sort of tapping away. He's on my toy fan talent, so it's retro something. But,
retro porcelain. Retro collection. So you recently discovered that there is actually quite a big and large community of retro Star Wars collection lovers in the Facebook world.
I did.
So you joined a couple of groups.
I had some. I can't remember the guy's name. I'm terrible. I had him reach out and was like, he was like, "Hey," I think he was like, "Hey, have I upset you?" And I was like, "Why? No, we don't know each other." And then he said, "Oh, I do the Facebook retro," and I was like, "Oh God, yeah, I'll be in for that." So yes, I did. I'm gonna have to just ignore that.
I believe, if I'm
determined to find out who this is.
I think off the top of my head. But there is a really big community for it. Like it's a very well loved line. And I think the interesting thing is a lot of people
always juddering again, everybody. This is great. We've got Ryan freezing and me actually just looking at my phone. There you are, you're back. You froze up there.
Good. Oof. God, it was getting hairy for a second and I was getting dramatic. In the 90s, Kenner did a celebration pack. Yes. And it was a
ladies and gentlemen, this is fantastic YouTube entertainment for you. I'm looking through.
Am I back again?
Yeah, you're back again. Don't worry, I'm filling for you. We're brilliant at this. We're fantastic.
Tell you what, right? Let's Andy H. Oi, Savaloy. I thought you were.
Don't worry, you're not missing much, Andy. To be honest with you, Ryan keeps freezing up. Oh, got it. Recollection toys.
Sorry, that's all we got time for today. We can't put that comment on.
Recollection toys. If you want porcelain figures, go to Recollection Toys on Hasbro. On Hasbro on the Instagram. Sorry. My God, what are we doing? We should just shut up shop right now. Anyway, I haven't heard the phrase "oi oi Savaloy" for a very long time.
I'm going to quickly change over my signal. So, Steve.
All right. Ryan Speaks Geek broadband connection brought to you by 2 tin cans and a bit of string. It's a blooming long string. It's 3,000 miles worth of string. So you're absolutely right, Andy. I'm glad you're here. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Steve and Andy show. Andy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Put it in the chat and I will reiterate that to the vast audience. Oh, Ryan's back. It was Andy and I were going to take over.
Well, do you know what? I reckon Andy could, to be fair, because he's got that kind of thing. Brought to you by 2 tin cans. And do you know, he's not entirely wrong. There is a hamster that powers the Wi-Fi for the building, and it's very knackered and very old.
I would hope the Brits would have got broadband by now, but not yet. I'm going to go and put my porcelain layer back.
That is a smart move. Joby1, hello. Good to see you, my friend.
Oh, Joby1. I like that name. That's pretty neat. He knows Andy, or she knows Andy.
Well,
Joby1, Andy H, know each other?
Yep. So these guys also, I think they first started watching me on the Geek Week, and then have just sort of not got quite bored of me yet, and
they migrated with you. They migrated with you.
Exactly. They have migrated. Well, you still watch the Geek Week as well because it's an excellent show, and that is on at 9:30 tonight, I believe.
I don't like that show. No, I do. I do.
Ash,
I do love it.
You're on there in a couple of weeks, actually, if I believe.
Oh, sugar. Yes, I am. I love that show. They are just so welcoming.
Jake, Ash, let me know if you want me to boot him up or put some really bad under the screen here now.
I do love those two. I do. The three of you are actually very good together. I will say that. I know the 2 Ronnies are only 2 and Morecambe and Wise are only 2, but the 3 of you had a nice little dynamic going on. Nice little
it was great. Do you know what? The biggest thing, it was a lot of Sunday nights. It was late night Sundays, and also like with our interest, I am so much more vintage, retro, a lot of older stuff, and I appreciate how niche that is. And I couldn't really contribute a lot to like Marvel Legend. I've done it for like over a year, and like we still talk all the time because I've known Jake for like 18 years. So, you know, me and Ash do some horror stuff every now and again. So, and I am due to go on to the Geek Week again soon just to do my really bad Winnie the Pooh impression because I haven't done that for a while.
Good.
Yeah. But yes, so do you know what? This is the problem when it's just you and me though, because then the train of thought is gone. Because them 2 are the sensible ones.
There's no cover. There's no cover for you, man. We're out.
There isn't.
No man's land. We're in no man's land with no trousers on, and it's no protection.
There we go. That's a very good description. It was the geek version of the 3 amigos.
Yeah, it was.
So, Joby1, that's what I was going to tell you about. You got to go check out Joby1, right? So, Joby1 does like hip hop, like rap and stuff, but a lot of it's like Star Wars themed and things. But it's really, really good.
Is Joby1 on YouTube or Instagram or everywhere?
Everywhere, and he's also on Spotify. But I will send you some links over because you got to give him a listen because I've got quite a few of his tracks that I just sort of have some of my nice little background.
Joby1, digital creator. Yes, there we are. Hip hop artist, producer, and Star Wars Black Series collector. You're going to get a follower, Joby1. You are now on Instagram up to 333.
Boom!
Sign of the beast.
There you go. That's what we do on Ryan Speaks Geek.
One person at a time. Slow and
never
steady.
him.
Slow and steady.
It's everyone else.
Don't be humbled by Ryan, Joby1. You got to wait.
Yeah, no one's humbled by Ryan.
Come on.
I mean,
you guys got talent and creativity.
Well, before we even started the show, Steve said I had a halo going on with Jabba's.
Yeah, you're like some kind of like Roman Greco kind of sculpture.
It is
just the top bit, no, not this bit, but like
But the so yeah, going back to the retro collection, because a lot of people didn't know that the original of the Hasbro retro collection, I think it's the first 2 waves, the first Empire waves and the first New Hope wave. They're actually scans of your figures in the shelf behind you, aren't they?
Over there, yeah. So I've had those figures for 30 years. If you want to find out how I got those figures for 1 pence each, check out Tall Toy Tales episode 3, and I'll tell you all about it. But yeah, so I
It will
pitched
bring a
the.
tear to your eye because
Oh,
it hurts
we
even
would
more
do
than
if you're that
expected.
kid, yeah. It's not like that. It's quite schizophrenic. So I pitched the
You're a
retro.
monster.
I pitched the retro collection idea of like, hey, they're really expensive. Some people can't get the old Kenner ones, and then we could do some new characters. Let's do it. Years ago, like it was, I want to say like 2017, 2016. It was around sort of Rogue One time,
Mm.
and we eventually did it. And when we kind of went to launch it, by the time we launched it, I actually left Star Wars. So that must have been 2018, 19.
Yeah.
2019. And they were like, "Oh, we got to get some figures. We don't, the molds don't exist. Molds, cut steel molds die after about 10 years. To be perfectly frank, they all rust up and you can't use them anymore." So they said, "Well, we'll get some figures to scan." And I said, "Well, I've got really nice figures. Like, you can go and buy the carded ones if you want." I said, "But I've got really pristine mint everything." So they scanned my figures, took it in 3D scanner, scanned it. So every retro wave 1, wave 2, and a lot of the prototype ones are from my actual figures, which are over there. So if you've got one, we're like family. We're connected. And I put little spy cameras in every single one, so I can see everything that's going on.
Well, you must have really enjoyed the box mine are currently in then.
But so we did it on that, and we also did it on the Indiana Jones as well. So when I knew there was another indie movie coming out, I sort of said, I was like, there you go. I was like, we're gonna do retro figures, right? And I said, we're gonna do new characters and the two, Doom and Crusade, because Tenor didn't do that. I went to LJN. And so I was very excited about that. So they scanned those as well. So all the redo of the Indiana Jones figures are also from just there. You can just see it out of focus there. The Well of Souls. Well of Souls, yeah.
Is that, to your knowledge, not as an official statement, but to your knowledge, is that a line that's been rested at the moment?
I can't comment on that. I'm not on that team anymore.
Oh, it was just genuine. If I'd missed the publication,
I don't believe so. I don't think anything's been said about that. So I'll let the Lucasfilm team speak about that.
Yeah. Oh well, that's good. Well, hopefully I'll speak to them again soon.
But it was cool
most people actually. I think. But yeah, I would like some more because I've got them. And the thing is, I can't afford the originals, so it was a really good opportunity for someone like me who's always wanted them, but couldn't. The originals are so expensive on eBay because it's not a huge run.
No, some of those, and indie suffers from the broken thumb syndrome. Like, to find, I was lucky. I didn't actually. I think my indie with unbroken thumb, he's in beautiful condition, I probably paid like $100, maybe $80. Marion was difficult to get, the little monkey that comes with her. That she was more expensive. But oh no, I remember how I got that. All right. So I got Marion for a decent amount of money, probably about 100 for her with a dress without the monkey. But then I found the Cairo Street Trader that comes in the box set that comes with a different monkey, the non-rare monkey. The different, his one comes, I think, with a hook tail, but the rarer one that came with Marion originally is a sit-down monkey. And they mistakenly put the sit-down monkey with the Cairo Trader. So I paid like $40 for that and the monkey, but the monkey was from Marion, which, you get the monkey on its own for like $100. So I was like,
son of a gun.
You got to take those things sometimes. You can't, swings and roundabouts and all. You have to sort of, sometimes you win some, sometimes you lose some. And I believe in karma. So while I got a good deal there, I believe elsewhere I had a bad deal to balance it off.
Let's go with that. It helps you sleep at night. But that's the thing about that wave. I mean, like, I wasn't expecting a retro collection for indie. So that what we have, I am very eternally grateful for. I do hope there's more, and I hope it's sort of just the beginning of a sort of a rising trend, because the Star Wars one's gone from strength to strength. Like, we've had a mix of, obviously, re-releases of older characters. Most recently, Yak Face, which is like one of the most sought after ones.
Yeah,
and now it's in a box set with a Mon Mothma as well, which is,
I got to get I haven't got my Mon Mothma. I saw Chris on Friday, and I was like, "Where's my Mon Mothma? Just give me my Mon Mothma," because I have to collect all the ones that were in the original trilogy. I've got a few of the Book of Boba Fett's and Ahsoka, but I'm more focused on, all right, if it's in the original trilogy, I have those. So yeah, but that's cool.
I've got them all. I'm a nightmare. And I've got multiple as well, because I'm doing customs on them. I've got quite a few Ned B's from Obi-Wan I'm going to paint up. So
yeah, I liked him. I liked that as a character. I like the voice acting, or the non-voice acting. He didn't have a voice, so just sort of made movements, servo noises, which I thought were really cool.
Greeble noises. Greebly noises.
I don't know.
Is that
What's
the one?
some sort of
Greeble's the term, isn't it, for all the little bits in Star Wars, all the things and
yes,
objects and stuff.
yeah,
I'm gonna go for Greebly noises because
greebly noises.
it's fun to say.
Bit like
But I
Wally.
think that's a really interesting line, like especially now we're getting the Ahsoka wave and you're getting like Rebels characters, which is funny because the Rebels line when that came out, which was the mission
I did,
series style
I
ones,
did that. That was my first. That was my first line when I joined
that's what
Star
I was about
Wars.
to say.
Oh,
And I would like to know, was there an element of vintage inspiration there? Because I actually display a lot of my Rebels figures with vintage because they are very stylistically,
they
whilst they have an animated edge, they feel very vintage still.
yes. So I remember we were. Lucas will mind me saying this, but we saw. I think it was the first week or the second week I was on the Star Wars team. They showed us episode 1 of Rebels. So we saw that. So hey, we've got doing a new animation. It's going to be very kid themed. It's going to be very fun. Kind of, it takes place just before episode 4. It's the lead up to it, and we saw it, and I was like, "It's really cool." I really enjoyed it. And then we were doing figures, and we'd already made a decision to do kind of like five POA. And I kind of it just naturally fit because we tried to match the animation style, which in its sense is a simplification, especially of features, which then makes it look like a little bit, not 100%, but makes it feel in tune with Kenner. And also the color palette was brighter. So with the older, certainly the Star Wars, first one with like Greedo and Walrus Man, that sort of color palette of oranges and greens and things kind of all sat together. So it was a happy accident. And then as we moved into Force Awakens and particularly Last Jedi, we kept it 5 POA, like it or don't, up to you. But like the sculpting, I said, like, we've got to keep 5 POA, but that sculpting, the volume button on sculpting has got to go. And I still think that, what was Rose Tico's sister's name? Who was the pilot in
Paige Tico.
Paige, thank you. That's one of the best sculpts ever done, in my opinion. And the little helmet that comes on, they were beautiful, beautiful sculpts. And that's when we really started to see. That's when we started using digital sculpts from the actors and actresses. They would run onto it's just before they went on set. They would get costumed. They would come onto set. They would be checked by a director, by JJ or what was the second guy? Ryan. Was it Ryan? Who did Last
Ryan.
Jedi? Somebody.
I don't know. He gets a horribly bad rap for it. Bless him.
Oh, Johnson. Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. Yes.
Yeah. He would check the costumes, and then they'd go on. So just before they go on, they would jump into this little booth, which is like a spray tan booth with like loads of lights and cameras, and they just go, and they would scan, and then we would use that as our basis for our sculpture, for our ZBrush sculpting. We'd have to change it all, but you just get all the details and all the greebles, and so the sculpting just went crazy. But that was fun times. I enjoyed that work.
I think that's the important thing with those things is like people, like you said, it depends what you prefer. But I'm always a big fan of people like what they like, but you don't be nice to people who don't necessarily like what you like, and vice versa. It's everything. I'm not a Black Series collector, as you know. I've got one scale on my brain, but like it's the one scale my brain can manage. But me and Joby One are good friends. There's no bad blood between us. He's a Black Series collector. He knows my scale preferences, but we can all get along.
Well, we should do. I mean, it's always the danger when there's passion. You feel strongly about things, and it's an important part of our lives, good or bad, but it is, and you feel passionate about it. So, like when people they talk to me and they go, "Oh, yeah, blah blah blah," one opinion, blah blah blah, another opinion, and like, especially when they go, "Well, how do you deal with all the haters and the people that have a go at you?" And I'm like, I don't. All passion is good. I'd rather there be passion in this community than none. Like the worst case scenario is when there's just like nonplus where no one gives a crap. So that's the worst case scenario in my opinion. So with this passion, I take the good, the bad, and the ugly together. I always say that's my little thing. Like if you tell me good things, great, I'll move along because it's like great, I'm doing well, but I don't really want to hark on about that. Give me the bad stuff. Hey, you should have done this or do this or think about this. There's a mistake or an issue. Tell me those because they're the things I can do stuff with. That's the stuff I really, really want to hear. And then the ugly stuff is like, you're an idiot, blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's fine. I have to accept the other two. If I accept the other two, I have to accept that last one. And I just tune it out. I tune it out and I put it down. I don't know the situation. I don't know what's going on in their lives. I don't know what they like or don't like. So I just accept it. It really doesn't bother me. That is not an invitation, everybody, for everyone to
I'm about to
really,
say.
really troll me. All right?
Just
But you got it
fishing
in
for
life.
some hateful comments there. Because I noticed on your Instagram, obviously, you put a lot of polls up a lot as well. Because I know you're genuinely interested in what the community has,
Yeah.
thinks. And
Oh,
there
yeah.
was one of the more interesting ones recently was about scales, and it was about the fact that the 3.75. And I remember it threw Ash and Jake into an almost they were shooketh, I think, and I think they even did an extra video just based on like, what the hell's going on? Like, is this the way forward? And I was just like, preaching to the choir, boys. Welcome to my world.
Yeah, and I want to make it real clear that like any poll that I put up is not a Hasbro poll.
No, it's a
Not a
Mr. Stevie
Hasbro
poll.
poll. It's just a me mucking around. I'm not mucking around. And it's also just of the people that follow me. There's like 22,000, which is insignificant to the power of the true consumer of Star Wars or Marvel or anyone. So it's a real niche group of people. So you're going to get skewed answers. But they're the answers I want because they're the answers that help me define what content I put out on my channel. So like if it's 3.75 or 6-inch, I know to tailor to that or to push to get other people in. Nothing to do with Hasbro at all. So like I know a lot of people naturally think, oh, Hasbro are doing this poll, and it's like it's not, it's me. But I can't deny there's some influence, or but I may mention it in when I'm talking to people. But
Yeah.
I'm always like, it's just my followers. It's not a proper thing.
It's not for the masses. It's just for the little old me.
Yeah, but it is
Oh,
interesting.
but there you go. That's from Andy as well. Like, enjoy what you enjoy. Accept people like things you don't like, and if people challenge you, if you like, smile them, set them on fire. I mean, I think that's just something we can always do.
Yeah.
Well, but it's difficult in the Black Series vehicles and such would be massive. I feel like there should be mutual appreciation across the lines.
Yeah.
Very true.
They're truly, and I know I sound like Switzerland or like I've got a splinter up my backside, but like, there are benefits to both sides. There are. There are absolutely benefits to both. I don't have many 6-inch. I'm more of a 3.75 inch just because I collect retro. And you could argue, well, I have 4.5-inch 5. I I got some, but I don't have an affinity for either. I just have a natural remembrance of 3 3/4. There you go.
Yeah,
That's it.
speaking of retro, we can't not talk about my beloved Marvel Legends retro line. Me and Dave are still upset about the fact. Oh, I painted mine in
I
a
was
chrome
gonna say
pen.
that's not the original paint. Is it the
That's
same
super
head?
shiny, I know.
Is it the same head? Is that the original
It's the
sculpt? Oh
exact
yeah.
same one, yeah.
It looked like it had hair.
I had one of the no, neither of us do.
No.
I had that an extra one, so I chrome penned him up because I was just kind of curious to see what it would turn out like. But I did get from yourself, don't know if you remember, a falcon. I won one of your
So you do
competitions,
win
and
something, just not the barge.
I do. It's not the barge, but I
Oh,
did make
cool.
my own
That's
Sam
neat.
Wilson. And what's really cool is I was quite happy with the idea, and I've never finished it because I never thought to do the wings. And then in one of because the Marvel Legends retro collection community is still really, really strong. There's a
Yes, they
couple of
are.
guys that make just the most insane 1 volume and 2 quality of customs.
Martin, what's his name?
Oh yeah,
He does incredible on that.
and he does the cards as well. Like it's just phenomenal how
Yeah.
much love there still is for it. And I'm still always hoping because it is only resting. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
Oh yeah, it is, and
Resting.
that's not BS speak. It's like, and it's not uncommon. It isn't uncommon. We have a certain amount of things that we can do within our portfolio. We have a certain amount of what's the word I'm looking for? Commitment to things that obviously Marvel are doing, movies or Disney Plus and things like, which is should be expected. Absolutely should be expected. So we have to make choices, and I still hold that very dear to my heart, and we'll see.
I've still got actually to hand my one that you very kindly did a little sign on it. I mean, he's out the box, by the way. Like I was going to keep him in the box.
Good.
But I just like keeping the box set up because I'm like, oh, that was a nice day down at Bridge. Down
That was cool. That was I really enjoyed that day. That was a wicked shop. What's that shop called again?
Nerd Base in
Nerd
Bridge,
Base.
Canvey Island, and soon opening a 3rd location. That's right, Battlebridge
like
for all your
Base
nerdy needs.
Battlebridge is a great name as well.
Oh, hey, Shelley.
We'll start with a stick. Oh, we'll start with a click. It
Mr.
started
Oh, in
with a
Geek Week in
click.
Review. I was like, "What's Gwr?"
I thought that was like Great Western Railway, or something, Great Western Irish Railway. I was like, "Were you on the
I'm very well
trains? You
known
look
on the
like you should be on
trains
the
here,
trains."
Steve. Very well known on the
You
trains.
look like you shovel coal, Ryan.
I've been known to, doo doo, but
Ivor.
um. So I thought I would do a bit of an opposite for you today. I would tell you a toy tale, if you will,
Please do.
because I do love obviously your channel, and we are looking at obviously making sure people know that and go to that. So my one is based on my childhood and the limited amount of toys that were available at the time, and then trying to sort of expand that. And my dad and my mum made me two sets of sort of Star Wars things that are some of the most treasured and but also utterly ridiculous things in my collection. The most sensible one, first of all, is my dad took three figures of mine that I had doubles of and just odd bits and spray painted them
Yeah.
silver for me. So originally, this C3PO, which is the Power of the Force 2 one from the 90s, was silver. I later had then put him into colored him in red Sharpie. The Stap and Battle Droid figure from the 2000, the preview, the 1999
Yeah.
preview
Oh,
figure.
I love that
So
figure. That's one of my favorites. I got to get that.
I know, I love it. I got it in the boot set recently. And this was like a Star's corpse figure, but because of the head,
Yeah.
it was bright green originally. But it looked a bit like a Death Star droid. I
Yeah.
didn't have one. So my dad made me one.
Oh,
So that
that's
is
a cracker. I remember that
it's
Star Corpse.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
since randomly got the green one back again as it originally was in another lot randomly. And I was like, oh. And then my mum, this is probably where creativity takes a very interesting turn. McDonald's used to do like the giveaway toys, and one of them was Teeny Babies, the little soft toy things.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of them
Get
was a
ready,
camel.
everybody.
So
Get
brace
ready,
yourself, yeah, because
everybody.
here we go. My mum cut the legs off this camel, sewed them to the top for an ears, and made me a tauntaun.
Nothing like a tauntaun.
But it's brilliant, and it has always been. But the funny thing is, because of the fact it's a soft toy thing, it wedges the figures on, and they do stay on. To be fair,
Tauntaun.
it is the
It's like a
greatest thing, isn't
mouse
it?
and a tortoise has had an illicit affair, and it's come out
But
deformed.
it is one of my mum is
Oh.
still to this day very proud of it, and I absolutely love it. Some great stitch work as well.
Oh, Ryan's mum, I
But
apologize profusely because I know you're going to be watching this. You watch every single thing your darling little boy is in. So it's a wonderful taunt.
you
That's
look
really
into the
nice. You've
camera and you
actually,
say, "Linda Gatterall, I am very sorry that I have
Linda
critiqued
Gatterall,
your work."
I am very, very apologetic. I did not mean to disparage your needlework skills. I'm very sorry.
She's not angry, Steve. She's just disappointed.
Oh, geez, that's
Yes,
the worst parental thing
I
in the
know.
world. You're disappointed. That still works, by the way, on my kids. They're 20
I
and
know.
16.
It
It
does. It
still
still works
works.
on me. Like my
Right?
mum still like can use that, and I'd be like, oh. But then I decided to get that. So you think like that could be like a very odd thing to do, or you could take it a step further and go to your local boot sale, find something that's green and a monster, and go, yeah, that's my trash compactor monster.
Yeah.
So this is the actual one, the vintage one.
Yes. Dianogra.
This is my one.
Where did you get that, and when did you get that?
It's. I think it's actually this might also be a Happy Meal toy or something. It's some weird thing. I don't really understand it even to this day. But this was my trash compactor monster because it was soft plastic and green. I was like, and it had an eye on like the thing. And I was
Yeah,
like, that
yeah,
could be
yeah.
like the eye that pops out. So that is the absolute nutsness
Did
of
you used
this
to
was my.
lay in the bath with the bubbles up to your chest and kind of play on your chest with it and kind of like stick it up so the eye would just appear? I used to do that. I used to play on your chest like that.
Yeah, but my wife told me I
Without,
really had to go to work, so that
without the
really had
bubbles.
to drop that in. So
It's nice that you've got all your originals. The only thing have you got more?
I've got one more thing to show
Okay,
because
come on. I don't want to interrupt. I'm sorry. I'm
I had an
terrible.
idea for a custom when I was a kid. And I've never, the MTV, the vehicle which has got like the wheels on it and it's got the cannon, you can push it down and it
Yeah,
goes back up.
well, that's one of my favorite. Mark Boudreau's. That was one of Mark Boudreau's finest moments. I told him. I said, "You brought playability like I'd never seen before."
Oh, that's my favorite mini rig. I absolutely
Mm.
adore it. I've got like
Mhm. I'm with
three,
you.
but I even got one where I took the springs out and made a flat one because I was like,
Ah,
why not? Let's go nuts. So when I
wow.
have it on the shelf, I can have one in like different modes. But they did this McDonald's toy, and it goes down like that, and then it races off. and
What
it's
is
got like a
that?
really sort of weird roboty head.
A sort of Lost
And I
in
was like,
Space thing or something. Weird.
one year I'm going to make this into something Star Warsy.
Yeah.
And
That's
finally,
cool.
Steve, many years later, like almost probably about 20 years later, I have done it.
Oh, look at you. It's the Imperial Gunner Transporter.
So
That's what gets them along that little platform to where there's no protection or even
yeah,
railings next to the Death Star.
I'm going to paint loads of them. I'm really happy with it. It's absolutely nuts. But I was like, yep. But it was just the satisfaction. Like I had that idea like 20 odd years ago. Finally,
You could call them Death Star runners instead of the gunners because they go. There you go. You can have that one for free.
DSRs. Ooh.
But the only one I've got all this crap, but there's only one thing I have that's actually from my childhood. So I'm very impressed and jealous in some way that you've got your original ones. I know you're younger than me, so it's not such a great feat. I only have one thing.
Everyone's sitting there looking like the two of us on the screen next to each other, going like, "Really? Ryan's younger than Steve? Okay."
So I've got a little blue dog that isn't Star. I had this when I was 2. I was given this I lived in Canada, and I was given this in a Christmas stocking, and I used to chew its tail. And when I was about 4, I chewed its tail off, and I still have the tail that fits on it.
That's impressive.
Yeah, I kept this stupid bloody thing for 48. I can't even show you; it's so small. 48 years. That's the only thing I've got that's original, and it's probably my most. You probably can't hear me from back there.
I can hear you. Don't worry, you're good.
It's the people often ask me, what would you save if your house was on fire? What would you run and grab out of all your collection? They think, oh, you grab the barge, or you grab your yak face, or your blue snag, or sort of the rarer things like my Black Series gift thing for the cast. But no, I'd grab my blue little puppy. My blue dog would be what I'd grab.
Totally get that. I'd get my Action Master Blaster and probably this little collection of random nonsense that I just showed.
Yeah.
I wouldn't grab this bloody yak face because it weighs a ton, and that would just slow me down. I'd be dead by the time I got to the door. But
you have to jump in a river, sink and die.
yeah. There we go. Steve, the song you just sang is the inspiration for my name.
It started with a click.
Shelley.
Who did that? I don't know who did that. Who did that?
Oh, Shelley will tell you.
It
is not a tauntaun, it is a taunt.
Taunt.
Better
than a taint, I guess.
All right, keep it PG. It's Charles Bike outside, all right? This is what happens when you buy your Star Wars figures on Wish. Are you drinking out of an ostrich egg? No, this is just a rather ostrich egg-shaped glass.
I've got that glass. I've got those glasses. My wife bought them. I hate it because I hate any glasses that have like coloring or things like that. I have my best friend Simon Slater, if he's watching, he knows we have this running joke because he buys like gold goblets and weird Ibiza prints on things, and I just take the pee out of him all the time. But yeah, I have that same glass upstairs. I don't know how we've got it, but there we are. Is yours got gin and tonic in? Because that's what mine's going to be having in about 2 hours' time.
No, mine's rather depositing. You got just orange squash.
Orange squash? You can't get orange squash over here. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, it was like when I wanted cider though, and I wanted like a Strongbow or something like that, and it was like I got apple juice, and I was like, okay, right,
you got hard cider. It's got to be hard cider.
I know it was like hard cider. It was like that makes me sound like I've like brewed it in a prison. Like, what we
hot chocolate? Thank you, Andy. Yes, of course, Errol Brown. There you go.
We got the knowledge. We can rebuild her. I am very conscious of time because it is 1:45, and I know you do.
Right. Let's keep going.
But the more thing I wanted to talk about is because there is a very, very important charity thing you'd like to talk about, and I think that is very important. So please,
all right, let's talk about that. So, during my journey through the collector community, I've connected with people, and we've formed a little group, a little society. We call ourselves the Plebs, which greatly your English viewing community will understand what that means. Being a pleb, but it stands for the Patrons of the Let and Breathe Society. So I do a Let and Breathe design that I do T-shirts off, and I upset ex-WWE wrestlers with. And but Matt Cradone was very kind; he let me run it. So I sold these T-shirts, and when I launched them, I sold them. And unbeknown to the purchasers, anyone that bought the T-shirt was offered a membership to this kind of like secret little kind of club, the Plebs. So there's about 44 of us, and every year at the end of the year, a few of us get together and we do giveaways, and we do charitable giveaways. We either do raising money for children's charity, or we give away only to kids to sort of encourage community. So if a kid can go into a collector community and he can start off with Galactus, then it's a meaningful story. They'll be telling the story in 30 years' time in the holographic YouTube version, whatever it will be. It will be pumped into our brains. We won't even have to sit in front of a screen.
3D tube.
Yeah. So, excuse me. So this year, there are 5 of us, and we're all giving away, or we're holding charity raffles for various charities. Save the Children, Shriners, St. Jude's Cancer for Children, and Autism Speaks. So on my Instagram, Mr Stevie 18, I'm raffling a Giant Man HasLab, and I'm working with a guy called Paul. He's at Paul6, and he's giving away one of the extreme sets. It's like a sort of a pop-up 6-inch scale set. And it's $5 a ticket or entry, and that goes directly to Save the Children, and your name gets entered for an old-fashioned raffle draw on the 23rd of December to win Giant Man. Unfortunately, for probably most of your people, it's American only, because I got to ship it straight from HasLab, from Hasbro. So, but there are other people out there in different countries. I've got Lewis at Space Hut. He's offering actually that Jabba's Palace behind you. So he's raffling that off. So go to my Instagram account, which you can see just there, and have a little look-see. And please, please, please enter, give it a shot, or at least visit one of the other plebs listed on that post to see what they've got. And I'm sure they'll be able to deliver it to you as well. So it's all in good faith. And I'm really eager to raise money for Save the Children, is my charity that I like to give to. So thank you.
That was the one we did for the barge raffle,
Barge,
wasn't it?
raised $6,500. $6,500
awesome.
to Save the Children on that. I got it. I had one, as I didn't actually tell you this, Ryan. So, ladies and gentlemen, when Ryan and we met up in England and we were talking about stuff we wanted, and Ryan was like, I really wanted the barge, really wanted the barge. And in my head, I was like, do I give him my one? Do I give him my spare one? And I was like, no, I don't give him my one, because I'm going to raffle it for charity. So I thought about just selling it and giving the money. But in the end, I thought, I'll give it a go. I might get $1,000 for it on raffling. And so I raffled it off, $5 a ticket, and we raised over $6,500, which I was blown away. And it was won by Lewis, who was in England. So I'm glad someone in the UK got it, because I know you didn't have the ability to get it first time around.
To be fair, it was a timeshare deal. Me and my dear friend Dave, or Dave of the Dead, as he appears in the comments all the time, we still have that promise to each other. If we win the lottery, we'll get one each. But realistically, if one of us can afford it, it's a timeshare deal. Mainly we'll be presented at his, but just knowing we have it. But thankfully we have the kind of friendship where we can share a barge.
Well, I hope if I ever get one, I'll consider giving it to you. That's clearly not a promise. That's the loosest promise you're probably ever going to get.
I've come to think of you as people I met.
Joby One's heading off. Bye-bye. See you, Joby One. Oh, there you go.
Bye, Joby One. See you very soon, my friend. But yeah, do check out your Bob. I've got something I'm going to do just for you, Steve, because I know this is important to you. So here I have.
Open it. You're going to open it. Rip it open. Yes.
Smells like victory.
At least that one won't leach. It won't leach because it's all ABS.
Look at that. That is
Muscular
so shiny
3PO,
as well.
everybody. Muscular 3PO.
But do you know what? This is always been one of my favourite figures, and it's just nice to see him in his proper little gold. I don't know if I can get the torch to make them look even shinier.
It was what I liked about when they hit Power of the Force. They did the arms. They got the arms properly.
The henchness.
Properly bent. Oh my. Yeah, look at that.
Well.
I remember I used to live in Colchester in Essex at that point in time. So I'd come back from Brighton. I hadn't got a job. I'd got out of, it was 95, wasn't it? That launch. 95? It was 97. 95.
95 and 96.
Yeah. And I used to whip up the A12 to Ipswich and run into Toys R Us and see if they were there. I remember it so vividly, coming around the end cap, and they were there on the right. And I was like, yes. And I didn't have much money. I had like 20 quid maybe. So I got a load, and I got them home and I opened them up, and I remember putting them next to my original ones. And at that point in time, I thought they were just brilliant. It wasn't until later I realized, like, God, that's a weird stylistic approach. And when I started working on Star Wars, and I was chatting to Mark Boudreau, who designed those or helped or was part of the team that designed those. He didn't do figures, he did ships mostly. He was like, yeah, we were just responding to the WWF and just the wrestlers, and we just thought we had to redesign for this generation and kind of like bulk them up a bit. And like, you know, the Leia one was just hilarious.
It was a very special time. I mean, the funny thing is because they could have like a ring announcer like introducing them, Luke Skywalker. You know, he comes in like dun 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 dun, John Cena. The funny thing is that the vehicles were just straight Kenner ring paints and re-stickers. I remember my Luke getting him into the Kenner X-Wing in '95 because I had the original one and I did work that as a kid. I was like, wait a minute, these land speeders are the same. These X-Wings are the same.
They just got electronics to them.
Putting because you had to take Obi-Wan's big cloak thing off to get him and Luke in to the thing, but it was the most jacked up looking. It was so comical because they're in it like this.
Yeah.
And I just like, and it's meant to like have that wobble effect, the floating effect. I used to just push it and you just like tip over. It was like Flintstones. It was just like, oh no. Oh, God damn it.
How long? It was 95. Blimey, that's nearly 30 years ago.
I think that was such a good line though, because when I was a kid as well, that was my new Star Wars. So that's when I sort of started getting into it. And it was two different kinds of Star Wars. There was originals and new. That was it. So that's what we used to call it. So originals is what we get down the secondhand market or in the Essex Chronicle and stuff. The new was the stuff that was in like BTs and Woolworths and all other things that will make a nostalgic tear in your corner of your eye.
I used to like that. And the freeze frames were cool. I used to like the freeze frames.
You could get a viewer that was in the shape of the micro binoculars if you saved up enough points. The little points from the cards, which I used to cut them out, send them off. You could get it was like Luke's macro binoculars from the beginning of the film.
I didn't have to see that.
Put the frames in.
I do. I think the greatest achievement of that line at the very beginning was the Han in Stormtrooper disguise. Even as a kid, actually, that's a lie. That's a lie because I didn't have Power of the Force, the first one when I was a kid. I'd grown out of it. But as I was collecting it again and saw, oh my God, they did a whole line in '85. I didn't even know that. And then saw the stuff, these deep cuts. I was like, there's a Luke. I was like, that's awesome. They must have done a Han. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. Like the easiest, coming from a toy company that often does redos and refreshes. It's the easiest. Like, what are you doing? Why haven't you done that? And then, but the Power of the Force one was really cool. That was a mail away, wasn't it? Over here, I think it was through Serial, but in England, if I remember, it was just a straight mail away because I remember getting it. But
mail away, or in the Cinema Scenes 3-pack, had slightly different arms, and then you had the Chewie with the hip wrist cuffs and the Luke and the things. Because I used to do those. I mean, those Cinema Scenes were awesome. I've always wanted to just get like a wall of those, just the Cinema Scenes because they're great. You're thinking about it.
I'm not collecting them. I don't have any of them. I don't have any of those. I don't have any of the night.
You could have all of them, Steve. Search your feelings. You know it to be
true. You've had the
You already have them. So what I told you was true from a certain point of view.
I can't do it. I can't do it. But it's getting it. Like I'm starting getting the Rebel stuff again because when I get the Ghost, I said to the team, I said, look. When I knew they were doing the Ghost, I was like, well, that's fun doing it like in 2 seconds. Oh my God. I said, I'll have a load of those. I said, but just out of respect, I will not be putting TVC stuff with them. I will be putting it with my original kind of 2015 POA Rebel stuff. So I bought them all again.
I've got so many of those Rebel Stormtroopers. The ATDT driver, that's one I can never say.
Yeah, ATDP, yeah.
I think that is the most vintage, non-vintage figure that Hasbro have ever done.
I know what you mean.
It's like there's just something about the color palette and the slight semi-gloss dullness to it that I'm like,
yeah, it's a boring figure, but it's spot on.
But it's beautiful, and it's like, and it fits in. And when you army build, it's incredible, absolutely incredible. And can I take a guess that maybe your tall toy tales, which will be coming up in about 5 minutes,
won't be, but yeah,
no, is going to be Ghostbusters related potentially?
No. My next one, no, I put him up there for today. I don't know why. I kind of just like the way it sort of interferes. But brought old Pete up just to have something on show. But no, my tall toy tales. I can only say it when I go tall tales. Is continuation. Last episode 4, I got through my Star Wars Kenner. stuff where I spoke about the scanning for the retro line, and I got to the end of that, and then it cut off. So I'm going to be talking about Empire today. I might get into Jedi, but we'll see. I don't think I'm going to get to Power of the Force, but I've got some things to talk about my Empire collection, and there's one figure in particular which inspired a product I made in 2016. So there's like a gap of, I can't even do the math on that one, like 32 years or something.
A lot.
So that's what I'll be doing in a minute, but I'm going to be late, but that's fine. I don't think we've dried up quite yet. So I'll do that. I'll do that when we finish. It's live, but no one bloody watches it. They'll come back.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I was very cool. I'm happy to keep going because as people have probably worked out by now, we can talk for England until one of us betrayed England and left.
What do you mean? I'm going to come repopulating?
Yeah.
People said to me, it was on Friday actually, someone made a crack about the British and like, oh, they're coming back, look, he's here. And I said, we were never gone.
There's a great Mitchell and Webb sketch like that, and it's always like, they're gone, sir, and we're back. And there is an element of that. Here's a cool little thing for you to say that this is a bit like you. I can't remember who made these, and it was online, but they are absolutely awesome. This is from the kit bashes of the Epic Continues. So if you remember the famous docket that Mark made about the continuing after the Star Wars films.
Yes.
Star Wars.
Oh yes.
These are
the
mashups, but someone has found all the actual parts and used and made.
I see.
Made me the actual figures.
Oh, that's cool. You got a bit of fall
like the Y-wing.
What's that one in your left? Who's made that? That's IG-88 and what? What else is that made up?
So we've got IG-88, 21B, legs, arms. That looks like the guns from the speeder bike, I think, underneath the speeder bike.
Yeah.
I think. And the head is just crudely the cannon from a Y-wing. And it seems 21B was like the droid to take apart, because this is actually just made up of the arms of 21B and the
breathing apparatus. Yeah. Oh, that's cool. And that's based off Mark showed me that folder. I don't know. Have I told you that story?
When we were in the pub. Oh
yes. So Mark had the pitch folder with the original printouts that he took to show Lucasfilm in or the team. It wasn't all Mark. Yeah. He'd be the first to tell me that. He had the folder. We had all those, the AT-AT base, and I can't remember the names. The Prime. Who was there was someone Prime. He had the pens. It wasn't the original sketches. To be fair, it was photocopies of it. Yeah, but he showed me that. I was like, oh my god! And he did have the original plans of the Falcon, the Kenner Falcon. He had the original draft things, which we showed at HasCon. We did a Hasbro convention, 2017, I think it was. So he had some amazing stuff. Just the story.
There were some of the scans shown on that panel, wasn't there, that hadn't been seen? Because there was a guy, I think it's Toys R Us, I think is the website, had a lot of the folder scans on. That's how we know about what we do know. But I think everyone was a bit surprised, even in 2017 when that panel came up, there was stuff that we still hadn't seen.
Yes.
And I kind of feel like there might still be stuff.
Probably. I mean, we'll never see them now. I'm not sure what happened to those things. Like, obviously Mark retired and then sadly passed away earlier this year. I'm sure Judy, his wife, has still got them somewhere, but he just had them on his shelf. It was just, we were just talking about stuff and he goes, oh yeah, hang on a minute. Where is it? Yeah, look, this is the stuff we showed in 1985, or 1984 at the time, I'd imagine. We kind of showed to sort of extend the line. I was like, what?
Tandem X-Wing, that was one of the ones.
Yes. Yeah, and the tandem. Just ridiculous. And that's why I just love that ridiculousness of it. It's just like toys for kids. Yeah, we'll stick 2 cockpits in or 2, tandem, and nowadays we kind of get a little told off if we get a bit too silly. I will admit. It's like, oh, that's not canon, blah, blah. It's like, you know what? Doesn't matter sometimes. It's just fun. That's why I like the retro stuff and just doing crazy stuff. That's why we're doing like the Epic line. And I know it's not a collector line, the 4-inch Epic line. It's for kids, but it's like and you'll see more of it coming out. I want it to feel like kids' toys. They're just silly and fun. And yes, things are more expensive, and yes, things are smaller and whatever. But we've got things where we're squirting water, and we've got a Spider-Man tank that when you roll it, the legs go. like that.
Yes,
It moves like that's one of our top selling items.
because it's
And
awesome.
and it's just I call it ridiculousness. It's just ridiculousness and boisterous play. It's just I want things to pop off and squeeze and water, and I've got to get that back. So
I
that's
totally
the
agree. It's
line we're
been
doing with.
missing from a lot of toys, I think, because when I was a kid, like I used to sometimes, even if it wasn't something I collected, I wanted it, when I saw it in the catalog because of all the things it would supposedly do. Like, it slices, it dices, it's low prices. It was like Captain Simeon was one of them, like, which was a really odd toy line, which I really loved.
Yes. That is
Bit of a
an
deep dive
odd
there. People are sitting there going, like, Googling on their phones, going, what the
Don't look
Captain
up the
Simeon?
Simeon, whatever. No, Simeon. Don't look.
Yeah. No, that's something very, very different.
Don't do that. Captain Simeon.
Oh, look at that, been cancelled already. But the stuff like that, or Pirates of Dark Water, Power Rangers had some really odd, like, extra bits as well, all those things. But Superman having vehicles, and you're like, Superman doesn't need vehicles, but in the 90s, yes, he did.
Yes,
And they were so cool, and they were like neon power suits, and they had translucent plastic, and when you rolled it along, it shot up. And Batman had this weird laser grid thing which shot see-through orange discs. I'm like,
we often reference the Kenner Batman stuff. Aaron Archer, who doesn't work for Hasbro anymore, I think he didn't retire. He did a lot of work on that, and we often say, what would the Kenner Batman line do? It's like, can we just change the color? Spider-Man, yes, he can wear that decoration. Yeah. Go for it.
Does his head explode? Yes, but it turns into a robot. What?
But
I do miss those kind of bits. You are right. And the thing about the Epic line is, I was talking about that recently. Like, it is cool because it's just almost like the step up. It's almost like the evolution from the retro stuff. It's like, having that little bit more movement, having that little bit more playability. Like, as much as there was a lot of imagination, but there was also a lot of tooling limitations to why the retro collections and stuff like that are 5 points. It's because of that's what they could make.
Yeah.
G.I. Joe was so revolutionary in a lot of ways because of how articulated it was, with
crazy.
the O-ring, and it's insane, which is also coming back, I believe, the O-ring.
It is. We're our friend at Super 7, and Brian's doing some stuff with that. So yeah, I'm glad. We do a lot of stuff.
Bring back the O-ring.
I'm glad that there's partnership there as well. I genuinely.
It should be. It's like for a love of the franchise, rather.
I just want people to get cool stuff. I really don't care where it comes from. Just get it. Just get cool stuff. But I must
buy from that company.
But I must reiterate, Epic is not a replacement for the Marvel Legends Retro 375. Very different consumers, almost different budgets, but they're different teams. Like, I look after both of them, but they're made up of different teams. So, and everyone goes, "Oh, you got rid of that for that." It's like, no, we started Epic before we decided to rest Retro.
Just resting.
And that is the truth.
Resting.
Swear on my father's memory, we'd already started that, so it was going to be both.
I'm still waiting for my see-through Invisible Woman, which I thought might have even snuck in as a convention exclusive this year. And
yeah, it's an easy one. That's an easy one. I'm just like, it's an easy one. Like White Vision.
Paint apps are even like completely not point. There's no need for paint apps. It's perfect.
Yeah. It's funny. I've got and I don't know whether I'll ever be able to share it. I might be able to because it's not IP sensitive. But we had started development on some other stuff on Marvel Legends Retro, which I have photographs of. It'll be a bit like Mark Boudreau's folder. One day we'll show you kind of what we had planned.
As long as you send it to me at some point.
There's a number of stuff that was really cool. So maybe one day, if I ever get permission to kind of share that, maybe I will. I don't know, but it was cool. I enjoyed it. It was fun. It was just fun. I like figures I like toys when they're fun. So all balanced.
I haven't bought the last couple though because I don't want to admit that it's rested. So I've left, but also because I haven't seen them in the wild yet. I've only seen them online, and I was like, I might make them wild purchases. Like my last couple for the line, I think I'll make when I'm at a convention or something, so I can be like,
I got a Power Man variant. I got the first shot where he was more. I can't remember which way around it was. He had like I got him with a yellow top and a gold top, and I can't remember which was the sort of the pre-production. And we went, oh no, change that. That's too gold or too yellow. I can't remember which way around it is, but I have. I'll grab it. So I have.
Just everything in those cabinets falls down one by one.
Whether you'll appreciate the difference in color. Oh, it's very subtle in this lighting.
No, that you can see that.
Yeah, and I can't remember can't remember which one I think we made it more yellow for the final one.
There was a
Anyway.
production change on Storm though, because I'm still trying to find Storm with the.
Oh, that was a definite. That was me. They hated
Yeah,
me for that. They hated me for that. I was like, I saw it and I thought, this is a really nice figure. I was like, fantastic, well done. And I was like, the eyebrows look weird. Are they white? And they went, yeah. And like, I think JB showed me a picture of them where they were white. And I was like, yeah, but are they genuinely usually white? Because comic artists change the designs like willy-nilly. And I said, no, let's put it. Can we do a run change and make that black? Because that doesn't look. It's not right. So
I've got the white eyebrows. I haven't got the other one yet.
And I don't know which is rarer. I have a feeling it's probably pretty even. We would have done an initial run and then changed it because these runs weren't very long. Because they didn't sell like 100,000. But that was the only official. That is the only official released variant out there in Marvel Legends Retro. I know that people are talking about, I think, Miss Marvel's sash, and there was another one, but that's the only one that I certainly went, change that. And they all went, yes, Steve. Oh, Steve, yes.
Steve, Lord of the Marvel Retro line.
Anyway.
See, if Hasbro could get the Doctor Who license, I would love a revisit to the DePaul Daleks, because that is still one of my favorite molds. I've got.
Someone was talking about a retro. I did a poll on my Instagram. Oh, that's good. I did a poll on my Instagram about your favorite gift as a child, and someone put out a Tom Baker with a TARDIS that I think it twisted and it kind of looked like a little magic box. It sort of did something, and I was like, I've still got to look it up. I haven't looked it up, but I was like, oh, I used to like Tom Baker. That was my Doctor Who. That was when it was scary for me. And then I went to Peter Davidson when I was slightly older. But Tom Baker, I was like, yeah, I do. I like Doctor Who. My favorite is Matt Smith. I like Matt Smith because my daughter Bethany was really into it when Matt was on, or as a rerun. And I have special memories of watching it with her. She was mad on Doctor Who for about 6 months.
John Pertwee's always mine. Always been my doctor when I first sort of.
That's unusual because you're not old enough for that.
No, and shut up comments. Because I used to sneak down at like 5 a.m. because I used to run them all on like Gold, I think it was, or something like that. One of the TV shows, like one of the channels, and I used to rerun them from like 5 a.m, like omnibuses.
Yeah.
And I used to sneak down because all my other family would be asleep for like another like 3 hours. So I would just sit there and I would just watch Doctor Who. And so so when I started watching it, just as they started with John Pertwee.
Yeah.
And I absolutely loved it. And the funny is, when it changed to Tom Baker, I was like, he's good, but I mean, he's not as good as the other guy.
He's not Wurzel Gummidge. Wurzel. I used to love that program. That was a good program. That was an odd program. That was a great program where he popped off.
The man had range.
Yeah. Is he still alive? He must have died by now, John Pertwee.
No, I think he's one of the ones passed away. Sylvester McCoy is still making the rounds. I think he's in a. He might even be in the States at the moment or something. I think I saw.
That was the first Doctor I didn't like. He was after Pete Davison, right? And before Colin Baker. Is that right? I didn't like him. I didn't like Colin Baker either. That was when I was like, no, everyone's too characterized. It was too much of a caricature.
I think Pertwee and Baker were my sort of two that I watched most, and then the others I sort of flitted in and out. But I think I always go back. Everyone's got their doctors though.
Well,
I really liked Peter Capaldi actually.
Yeah.
Angry Scotsman as the Doctor. I don't know why. Just
I like Baker because
really
he was a grumpy curmudgeon. He was just like aggressive and just grumpy. So I really like. Then when Peter Davison came on, they obviously did the opposite with his cricket whites. He was sort of like more nicey. I think that was then I sort of faded out of it, and then I came back when they brought it back with that movie with McGann. Was it McGann? Paul McGann?
Yeah, Paul McGann.
Movie. I watched it and was like, oh, it's okay. But then with Tennant when they brought who was the first one in the series when they brought it back? Was it Tennant or was it someone else?
No, it was Christopher Eccleston.
Eccleston, yeah, that was it. Which I quite
leather jacket.
The Tennant is cool. He just reminds me of the guy from Top Gear. What's his name? The little chap.
Oh, Richard Hammond.
Richard Hammond. Yeah, just go. It's Richard Hammond. You could do those things they do, those memes they do where like separate a birth.
Yeah,
they just strike me as the same.
I thought for a second you meant Jeremy Clarkson, and that would
he's like Tom Baker. He would be a great Doctor Who.
With Jeremy Clarkson,
he would be a brilliant Doctor Who.
Yeah, politically probably not, but look
No, but
wise, maybe.
that
Yeah,
would be that. Even his attitude and the way he speaks
yeah.
is sort of like sarcastic.
Some say the Daleks are oppressive. However, I say they get things done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Him and
Yeah.
I like James May. James May is one of our favorites. We've only just
Met
discovered
James
him.
May once.
Did you? He's a really nice
He
guy. Seems like a really
he
nice
did a
chap.
whole thing because he really likes old toys.
He does. I
Um,
remember him.
she shot a program out of our high school, and
Which which one was it? Because I watched all of
Chelmsford
those.
Valley High School, and it was the Meccano episode they
Yes.
did.
Oh, that was all right.
There you go. A little bit more connected. And so my sister, though, so I met him. I thought that's really cool. Then my sister's story was worse because my sister met him when he was like, "You don't know who I am, do you?" And like, because she was like, "Oh, yeah, I've seen you 10." He's like, "You don't know who I am." And my sister then went, "Yeah, you're the one who always loses on Top Gear." I was like,
He does. You always get the
"Yeah." I was
crap
like,
car.
and he just apparently laughed. I was like, and then left. I was like, "That's the way to make someone feel good."
Fabulous. But yeah, okay. I'm gonna think about. All right, I'm gonna do a Jeremy Clarkson custom Doctor Who figure. I don't know how.
It's coming.
That's what I'm gonna do. Right.
Who
I'm looking
gear?
at the time now. It's nearly 4:15.
Right. Yes.
I
Let's.
am. Is there anything else that you would love to speak about, Ryan? He says, like he owns the show.
Yeah, I know. Like, well, Steve, since it's all on your precious time, we will. No, thing is, we have each other's information. We can do this again whenever. That's
I'd
the
love to
good
do
thing
this
about the
again. This is
internet. We
fun.
can.
This is fun. So thanks for popping
So
in, Andy. And
yeah,
it started with a click.
Shelley,
Your
Joby
real name,
One,
Shelley.
Custrans, all of them.
If
So
you're all
thank
on
you, everyone's
Instagram, please
watching.
follow me,
And
and
on
I'll follow you
catch up
back. We can have discussions about collecting and all that jazz.
on Instagram. Just want to, for legal reasons, want to make that clear. Steve will not follow you in person. That happened once. We do apologize on the show, but that's the danger of not being clear
I
in the
won't. I'm
small
not allowed
print.
back in the country, so you're okay.
No, that's why he's not in Colchester anymore. Make Ryan into a vintage figure.
I don't even need to try.
No, just need a combination of Lex Luthor and Richard Hammond, and then you Nedry's glasses.
I might start if I get Maliki. I could make a start there.
Oh, shot through
All right.
the heart.
Right, Ryan.
Mate,
Go on, bugger off,
guys.
I'm
Make sure
desperate for a pee. I can't do my
go on.
thing.
I'll say goodbye, Steve, and I'll keep talking, and I'll wrap this up. But
Let's do this again. I
I'll see
absolutely
you
love
soon,
it. Take care, my friend.
Catch you later, my dude.
All right, Brad. Bye.
So that was obviously Steve on there. So really appreciate Steve coming on. Restraining order is just another way of saying I love you. Oh, Andy, why do I feel like that is something you've actually genuinely had to deal with? Really appreciate Steve coming on to the show there. He is going to be on the Geek Week in review in a couple of weeks' time, so make sure you check that. I think it's the 17th. It might be next week, actually. Yep, Sunday the 17th. And also, the Geek Week in review, if I'm not mistaken, is about to start in about 15 minutes. So I think it's still at 9:30 comments, because I know you guys are probably going to jump from me and jump over there. So, yeah, Steve is cool. He is a really lovely bloke. I met him through the Geek Week in review, and then we just sort of became friends after that. And when he was over in England for a little bit, me and my good friend Dave took him over to Battlesbridge. And, we've been chums ever since. But yeah, he's got his channel is really cool, and I do really recommend checking it out. He's going to be live any minute now doing tall toy tales. So he's going to be doing that. So you can either hop over to there. They're only 10 minutes, and then obviously Geek Week in review with the one with Jacob's Toys and the one and only Super Sorrel. See, Jake can't tell me off because I'm not on the show at the moment. So, but thank you very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. We are going to be doing a few other things soon. Got a great custom creator coming on shortly who's made a vintage Tantive 4, which is just insane, but he's made it. It's a fully functioning playset. Absolutely incredible. Who else we got? We got Analog Toys in the new year. We got quite a few. So there is a lot coming up on the show. Thank you again to Steve Evans. Please do check out the charity stuff because it is for a wonderful cause. And that is on Steve's information, which is in the description. So on that note, what I will say is I have been Ryan Speaks Geek. I'm not delaying because I need to get the little clip thing up. And I will say, see you later. And until then, I won't say keep it geek. That would be too tongue-in-cheek, wouldn't it? But no, geek it real.